Hi everybody, this is Connor McNamara, the Technology Coordinator here at the Auburn Hills Public Library. And this is going to be the second part in our Hoopla video tutorial series. The first part we went over exactly what Hoopla was and how to set up a Hoopla account. So if you haven't seen that first part and you are still interested in what exactly Hoopla is, or you don't have a Hoopla account and you're looking for some help on that, certainly go check out that first video in the series. If you already have a Hoopla account because you've either watched that video or you set one up on your own and now you just want to know how exactly do I browse the website, pick out a book, how do I read it, how does it all work, then you are in the right place. So we are on the Hoopla digital website and we've just logged in, and this is the so-called My Hoopla page. So this is going to be the first thing you see if you log in on a computer to Hoopla. So we've got some information on here that's going to be important. One of the most important things on this page is going to be your currently borrowed section, and then also how many more titles can you borrow this month. So you can see right here it says you can borrow 4 more titles this month. That's good to know. It means I can check out 4 more things out of my maximum of 5. However, I don't currently have anything borrowed. If I did have something borrowed, as it explains here, it would show up right here. So if you're returning and you want to continue listening to an ebook, you want to continue watching a TV show or whatever, that's going to show up right here. As soon as you log in, you can click on it and you'll be off to the races. Below that is going to be a couple of different recommendations for you. And then if you've got any favorites that say you found at the end of last month, you were out of checkouts, but you were really interested in it, you can favorite that and it'll show up down here so that when you have checkouts available again, you can come back and check that out. We'll show you how to do that here in a minute. Of course, the most important thing though is how do we actually find content to read or to watch or to listen to. So there's a couple of different ways to do that. Most of them are probably pretty obvious, but maybe there's some that are a little bit more esoteric. If we take a look up here, we've got our little browse drop-down menu, and this is going to allow us to browse by different mediums. So if I want ebooks, if I want audiobooks, if I want movies, I can select that from this list here. So let's start just by taking a look at the audiobooks section. Okay. And if we look at the audiobooks section, we've got a very similar page to what we had before, except we've got this long list of just audiobooks. It's set me by default to this recommended view, which is just showing me, books that are recommended. These are ones that are probably popular or maybe based on things you've checked out before, things that the system thinks that you'll like. Of course, we can change that, so we can go over to something, say, like featured. So these are probably things, I'm recording this in the month of October, so we've got some Halloween-based books that are coming up. We can also filter to, say, popular. So these are obviously books that have been checking out a lot with all Hoopla users. Or I can go over here to categories, and this is going to give me a slightly different looking page. So in categories, I can say, show me good children's books, or Halloween for kids, or mystery or self-help. So these categories range from your typical genres, so action adventure, over to things that are a lot more specific, like Jewish stories and experiences, or learn something new, learning with STEAM, LGBTQ+. So your categories section is really pretty broad, and if you're not sure what to read, you can kind of do a peruse through categories and see if there is anything in here that sounds like something you might be interested in checking out. And these are organized by alpha, by the first letter. If we go back to either the featured or the popular section though, we've got even more filters on the left-hand side. So format, of course, we're looking at the audiobook section, so we're only going to have audiobooks. However, we can filter by, say, user ratings, release date, or date added to Hoopla. Now those two are going to be different. Hoopla works an awful lot like Netflix, where items and materials are added and removed from the service on kind of a regular rotating basis. So while Hoopla does have a lot of new materials, there are also materials that may be a little bit older that Hoopla just added. So if you're looking to read something new, you may want to filter by release date and say within the last week or within the last 30 days, last month. However, if you have just kind of perused through Hoopla at the beginning of the month and you didn't find anything you were looking for, and you come back next month, you may just want to say what was added within the last 30 days that I may not have seen the last time. And as you can see, there's a healthy amount of titles in just the audiobook section for each of these categories. And then language, of course, the vast majority of the audiobooks in this case right now are in English, but there are a select few in other languages. So if you're interested, you can select those languages here. I've also got 2 checkboxes here at the bottom. So if you wanted to just see children's titles, like say you were giving this to your child and they were going to check out a book on their own to read, you can check this box, which is only going to show titles that kids would be interested in and that are appropriate for them. And we can also exclude abridged titles, so you're only getting full books. So that's one way to look, is by category, and or by medium rather. And if we check on each of these, we can see comics is looking very similar, eBooks is looking very similar to the audiobooks. They're all, pretty much the same sort of filter. We've got the tabs across the top. We've got a selection of filters here on the side. We can also do a direct search. So if we click up in the search box, of course, we're going to get some recommended searches. And we can change our category here as well. So we can select a specific medium, or we could say search in for a specific category, a publisher, a series, or author. If we wanted to get even more in depth, we can click on this advanced search, and that's going to give us a whole host of different options, and we can fill out as many or as few of these as we want. So if we're looking for a specific series published by a specific publisher, by a specific author that contains these keywords, we can find that here. For today, I'm going to go back to the audiobook section and we're going to check out a book really quick. So let's select here, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So if I click on a title, I can see a little bit more about it. So this is by Suzanne Collins. Who it's read by, what series it's a part of. So in this case, this is the prequel to the Hunger Games series. If I wanted, I could click on this link here. It's going to show me all of the different titles in that series that are available on Hoopla. Sort of some genres. It's going to give you a little bit of a description about it. Your community rating. Also going to show you the length, so in this case this is 16 hours and 17 minutes. Now, if I wanted to just go ahead and borrow this, obviously I can click on the borrow. Let's say I'm out of borrows though, I can always click on this little heart, the favorite. And so that what this is going to do is kind of save it to a wish list of mine, so I can come back later and I can check that out when I have more borrows available. So if I go up to My Hoopla, scroll down, I can see here's my favorites. And here is the title that I just favorited. In this case, though, I do have some borrows available, so let's take a look at what this looks like. So I'm going to click on Borrow. You can see this title is available for 21 days. It's going to give me another little explanation here. Title is available for 21 days. It's available for streaming and downloading on mobile devices. Sure, yes, I will take it. Close out of this. Can now enjoy this title through Wednesday, November 4th. Fantastic. So I can click play right away here. And that's going to start it playing in my browser. I'm going to pause this really quick. Can adjust the volume and all that sort of stuff. If I go over to My Hoopla, under my currently borrowed, you can see I now only have 3 borrows available. And I've got my title here that I'm looking at. So there's title, author, when does it return by. I can click play to start playing it right from here. Or I can click on it to return to that description page that we were looking at earlier. So this title returns automatically on Wednesday, November 4th. I can return it early if I'd like. But unlike Overdrive, there aren't going to be any late fees or waiting or anything like that for this particular book. So there's no reason for me to do that. Okay, and that is a brief overview of how you would use Hoopla to check out a book. Now, we did an audiobook today, but that same process works for ebooks, it works for comics, it works for movies, television, anything, you name it. And this title is now available across all my devices. So if I download the Hoopla app and log in on my smartphone or on my tablet, I'm going to be able to pick up right where I left off with that book. If you have any other questions, feel free to come in and ask at the information desk in the library, and a librarian there will be happy to help you out. Or you can always call us at 248-370-9466. Thanks, and we hope to see you again in the library very soon.